When the Devils of Discord MC targeted Sarah Cooper, they thought she was just another easy mark, an isolated college student, unaware and unprotected. What they didn't realize was that her father, James Cooper, commanded an elite military working dog unit in Fallujah. Now, with 3 combat-trained Belgian Malinois at his side, James isn't just waiting, he's watching. And when the time comes, the hunters will learn what it's like to be prey. The evening sun casts long shadows across James Cooper's rural property as his 3 Belgian Malinois maintain their patrol pattern. Shadow, the lead dog, moves with military precision along the perimeter fence, while Storm and Hunter monitor different sectors with combat-trained focus. To anyone watching, they might appear to be simple guard dogs, but the scars beneath their fur and the tactical vests hidden in James's garage tell a different story. Through his kitchen window, James watches an unfamiliar motorcycle cruise past his driveway for the 3rd time today. The rider's posture speaks of professional training, not just another biker, but someone conducting surveillance. Shadow's ears prick forward, tracking the sound while maintaining his patrol pattern. 6 years of combat operations taught them both the difference between casual observation and tactical reconnaissance. Sarah's flight lands in 2 hours. James speaks quietly into his phone. Anything I should know, Mike? His old police contact's voice carries tension. Devils of Discord spotted in town. Professional outfit, not your typical bikers. Military backgrounds, tactical training. They've been asking questions about your property. Storm and Hunter shift their patrol zones simultaneously, a coordinated movement learned through countless combat missions. James notes how they maintain overlapping fields of surveillance while appearing to simply roam the yard. They following the usual pattern? James checks the reinforced security cameras he'd installed last month. Military habit. Always prepare for threats before they materialize. 3 disappearances in the last month. All young women, all taken with military precision. Police find them when the ransom's paid. If it's paid. Mike's voice drops lower. James, they're professionals. They study targets, plan operations, execute with tactical discipline. Through his thermal scope, James spots another motorcycle, this one holding position in the tree line. The rider's thermal signature shows combat stance, weapon profile visible despite concealment attempts. Sarah mentioned some bikers around campus last week, James says quietly, watching Shadow alert to new movement. Thought they were just locals. They've been tracking her, building pattern analysis. These guys operate like a military unit. Storm's posture shifts subtly, vehicle approaching. James recognizes the sound of Sarah's Uber before it appears. His daughter's coming home from college for summer break, unaware of the hunters watching their property. Got company, James notes, spotting 3 more thermal signatures in the woods. They're establishing observation posts. Want me to send units? Not yet. Let's see what they're planning. James watches his dogs adjust positions automatically, their military training showing in how they establish a protective cordon while appearing to simply greet Sarah's arrival. Sarah steps from the car, her smile bright as Storm approaches for inspection. To her, they're just the family pets, if intensely trained ones. She doesn't see how Shadow maintains overwatch while Hunter clears the driveway approach. Doesn't recognize the combat tactics in their seemingly casual movements. Missed you too, boy. She laughs as Storm completes his security check. The Belgian Malinois maintains his friendly demeanor while scanning for threats, a skill learned in combat zones where children and insurgents mixed freely. James hugs his daughter, using the moment to scan the tree line. 5 observers now, establishing interlocking fields of view. Professional work. They're treating this like a military operation. Your dogs are extra alert today, Sarah notes as they head inside. Everything okay? Just being careful, James answers, watching Shadow take up defensive position. The dog's posture radiates lethal capability while appearing merely watchful. How was the flight? Through security cameras, he monitors the observers' reactions to Sarah's arrival. Their movements show tactical training, coordinated repositioning, maintaining communication discipline, establishing surveillance patterns. They're getting bold, Mike's voice comes through his earpiece. Moving observation posts closer usually means they're entering final planning stages. James watches his daughter unpack, his tactical mind assessing defensive options. The devils of discord think they're hunting an easy target. Retired Marine living alone with his daughter and 3 dogs. They don't realize those dogs have more combat experience than their entire gang. Through thermal imaging, he spots 2 observers pulling back, likely to report Sarah's arrival. Their movement shows military training, precise, coordinated, professional. They're good at what they do, but they've never hunted prey that hunts back. Get some rest, he tells Sarah. Dogs and I are going to do a perimeter check. Outside, Shadow, Storm, and Hunter move with deadly purpose, their patrol pattern now purely military. James touches the hidden panel in his garage, revealing tactical vests and specialized equipment. Some warriors never stop preparing for battle. They just find different things worth fighting for. Let them come. The real predators are already here, and they've been waiting for war. Dawn breaks over James's property as he watches 2 Devils of Discord members probe his outer fence line through his thermal scope. Shadow and Storm maintain silent patrol positions, while Hunter rests near Sarah's window. Their standard protective formation. Through his earpiece, he monitors the biker's radio chatter. Target confirmed sleeping, 3 dogs on property, but standard guard rotation. The observer's voice carries military precision. No signs of advanced security. James allows himself a grim smile. 6 years of combat operations taught him how to hide defensive capabilities. The bikers see exactly what he wants them to see. Movement west. Shadow's subtle shift alerts James seconds before his thermal picks up 3 more motorcycles approaching. These riders move differently. Tactical spacing, professional formation. Not just scouts, but an advanced team. They're getting closer, Mike's voice comes through secure comms. Just intercepted chatter. They're planning something today, testing response times. Through reinforced cameras, James watches the bikers establish observation posts. Their positioning shows combat experience, overlapping fields of view, covered approaches, tactical withdrawal routes. Shadow's ears suddenly prick forward. Sarah's window opening. James watches his daughter step onto the back porch, unaware of the hunters studying her movements. Storm and Hunter adjust positions automatically, maintaining protective coverage while appearing to simply greet her. Morning, boys. Sarah bends to pet Storm, not noticing how the Belgian Malinois positions himself between her and the hidden observers. Extra protective today, aren't you? Breakfast in town? She calls to James. I promised Lisa I'd meet her at the diner. James checks thermal feeds. 7 observers now, coordinating through hand signals. Professional protocols, minimal radio communication. They're treating this like a military operation. Sure, he replies casually, already planning countermeasures. Dogs need their morning run anyway. Through his scope, he watches the observers react. Quick radio exchanges, tactical repositioning. They think they've found their opportunity. Taking the bait, Mike confirms through comms. 4 bikes heading toward town, 3 maintaining property surveillance. Classic isolation tactics. James leads Sarah to his truck, Shadow and Storm flanking, while Hunter maintains overwatch. To his daughter, it's just their usual enthusiastic behavior. She doesn't see the combat veterans scanning for threats, assessing tactical approaches. Team 1 in position, a biker's voice crackles through intercepted comms. Target vehicle leaving property. Begin Operation Harvest. The drive into town gives James clear view of their tail. 2 bikes maintaining professional distance, 2 more moving parallel on side roads. Standard military convoy interception setup. They're good, Mike updates. Got blockers staged at 3 intersections. They're planning to force you onto back roads. Sarah chats about college plans, oblivious to the hunters closing their net. But Shadow and Storm track every motorcycle through the truck's windows, their military training evident in their focused attention. Remember Kandahar, James whispers to his dogs. A flash of memory, convoy ambush, IED threat, K9 units saving dozens of lives. Shadow's ears twitch. He remembers. The diner's parking lot seems normal, but James spots 3 more Devils members inside. Professional placement, clear views of entrances, quick access to exits, tactical spacing. Lisa's not here yet. Sarah checks her phone as they park. Want coffee while we wait? Dogs need a quick walk first, James answers, noting how the bikers inside tense slightly. They think the K9s are just pets, security precautions from an overprotective father. Shadow takes point as they circle the building, Storm and Hunter maintaining protective formation. To observers, it looks like a routine dog walk. They don't recognize the combat patrol pattern. Four more bikes approaching from the north, Mike warns. These guys are carrying, look like QRF, quick reaction force. Through reflected windows, James watches the devils coordinate. Hand signals, minimal radio use, professional movements. They're preparing to spring their trap. Sarah, he says casually, why don't you text Lisa again? See where she is. His daughter pulls out her phone while Shadow suddenly stiffens. Target acquisition. Through his peripheral vision, James spots two bikers moving to flank their position. Sir, one calls out, voice carrying practiced authority. Animal control. Got reports of aggressive dogs in the area. James maintains his relaxed posture while Shadow and Storm shift slightly. Combat training engaging. Papers? He asks mildly. The biker's hand moves toward his jacket. Standard draw position for concealed weapon. But before he can complete the motion, Shadow and Storm demonstrate why they earned their combat credentials. The dogs move like liquid violence. Years of tactical training unleashed with surgical precision. Before either biker can react, they're disarmed and disabled. Non-lethal, but devastatingly effective. Dad? Sarah's voice carries confusion as more bikers emerge from the diner. What's happening? Just a misunderstanding. James positions himself between her and the approaching threats. Shadow, Storm, contain. The Belgian Malinois move with coordinated precision, establishing a defensive perimeter that forces the devils to maintain distance. Their combat training shows in every controlled movement. You have no idea what you're dealing with, one biker warns, but his voice carries newfound uncertainty. They expected to find an easy target, retired Marine with pet dogs. Instead, they've just walked into a kill zone controlled by combat veterans who never forgot their training. Actually, James replies quietly, you're the ones who don't understand what you're dealing with. Shadow, Storm, Hunter, demonstrate. Let them come. Some warriors never stop fighting. They just find different things worth protecting. The real war is about to begin. Afternoon sun beats down on James's property as he reviews security footage from the diner incident. Through his tactical display, he counts 8 Devils of Discord bikes, maintaining surveillance from extended perimeter. They're more cautious now, maintaining professional distance after watching his dogs in action. They've called in specialists, Mike's voice comes through secure comms. Former military contractors. These guys have experience with combat K9 units. Shadow and Storm patrol the grounds while Hunter maintains close protection on Sarah, who's still shaken from the morning's events. The dogs move with lethal grace, no longer hiding their military training. Remember Fallujah? James whispers to Shadow. The Belgian Malinois' ears prick forward. He remembers. 6 days of urban combat, clearing insurgent strongholds, protecting Marine units from ambush. They'd earned their first combat citations in that city. Dad, what's really going on? Sarah watches from the reinforced kitchen window as more motorcycles pass their property. Those weren't animal control officers, were they? James studies thermal feeds showing the Devil's observation posts. Their positioning demonstrates tactical experience, overlapping fields of fire, covered approaches, professional protocols. Your dogs, Sarah continues. The way they moved, that wasn't normal training. Through his scope, James spots new vehicles arriving at the Devil's staging area. SUVs carrying specialized equipment, tactical gear, military-grade communications. They're escalating. Shadow, Storm, and Hunter aren't just protection dogs, he explains, checking perimeter sensors. They're combat veterans. 4 tours in Afghanistan, 2 in Iraq, specialized in counterinsurgency and urban warfare. His radio crackles with intercepted communications. The Devils are coordinating with their new contractors, establishing command protocols, planning tactical operations. Team 2 reports K9 units show advanced combat training. A professional voice reports. Confirmed military working dogs, likely force recon or special operations background. Sarah processes this information while watching Shadow coordinate with Storm, their patrol patterns showing years of battlefield experience. That's why they always check my campus apartment, why they swept every room when I visited. 3rd Marine Special Operations Command, James confirms, noting new thermal signatures approaching their perimeter. Your dogs are more decorated than most soldiers. That incident in Kandahar alone. His mind flashes back. Taliban ambush, unit pinned down, IEDs blocking escape routes. Shadow and Storm had led them through the kill zone, detecting threats, creating safe passage. Hunter had taken down 3 insurgents single-handedly, earning his Silver Star. Movement northeast, Storm alerts to new activity. Through cameras, James spots tactical teams deploying specialized equipment, electronics warfare gear, signal jammers, counter K9 measures. They're bringing in everything, Mike updates. These contractors are serious players. Former Delta Force, Navy SEALs. They've handled military working dogs before. James watches his dogs adjust patrol patterns automatically, compensating for the electronic countermeasures. Combat experience shows in how they maintain tactical awareness despite increasing threats. Your mother never liked that I trained them for war, he tells Sarah, checking the hidden armory beneath his garage. But some battles follow you home. Better to be prepared. Through thermal imaging, he spots contractor teams establishing observation posts. Their movement shows professional training. Precise, coordinated, disciplined. They're treating this like a military operation. Target analysis complete. A contractor's voice carries through intercepted comms. 3 Belgian Malinois, all showing advanced combat training. Handler displays tactical awareness, likely force recon background. Shadow and Storm shift patrol sectors as Hunter guides Sarah away from exposed windows. The dogs remember their combat roles: protect, detect, neutralize threats before they materialize. They're not just watching anymore, Mike warns. Intercepted orders mention Operation Secure Asset. These contractors don't leave witnesses. James checks his daughter's go bag, packed and ready by the reinforced panic room. Some habits never fade. 6 years of combat operations taught him to prepare for worst-case scenarios. Remember Tehran? He asks Shadow as they verify defensive positions. The Belgian Malinois' posture shifts. He remembers. Hostage rescue operation, close quarters combat, precision tactics in urban terrain. They'd earned the Navy Cross for that mission. Through security feeds, he watches contractor teams test his perimeter defenses. Professional operators probing for weaknesses, establishing tactical data, preparing for assault. Your dogs, Sarah says quietly, watching Hunter scan for threats. They're not just protecting us, are they? They're hunting. That's what war dogs do, James confirms, noting increased activity at the Devil's staging area. They never stop being warriors. They just find different battles worth fighting. Let them come. Some soldiers never leave the battlefield. They just find more precious things to defend. The real war is about to begin. Night wraps around James's property like a tactical shroud as he monitors contractor teams through thermal imaging. Shadow and Storm maintain combat patrol while Hunter guards Sarah's room. Through encrypted channels, he counts 12 professional operators moving into position. Multiple vehicles approaching, Mike's voice carries urgency. Devils providing support while contractors take point. These guys are running this like a military operation. The first attack comes without warning. Synchronized EMP bursts taking down the power grid. But James and his dogs trained for electronic warfare in darker places. Remember Mosul, he whispers. Shadow's ears prick forward as backup systems engage. Combat experience taught them both. Sometimes the best defense is letting enemies think they've won. Grid compromised, a contractor's voice carries through secondary comms. Moving to Phase 2. Through night vision, James watches tactical teams deploy. Their movement shows special forces training, coordinated advances, professional spacing, textbook breach preparations. Sarah, he activates the intercom to her room. Protocol echo. Now! His daughter moves quickly, combat training evident despite her fear. 3 years of drills have taught her to reach the panic room in under 30 seconds. But the contractors plan for this. The first flashbang crashes through Sarah's window as she reaches her door. Professional timing, Perfect execution. Before James can react, multiple breach points detonate simultaneously. Contact front. Shadow and Storm move like liquid violence. Years of combat training engaging. But the contractors came prepared for military working dogs. Sonic weapons fill the air. Specialized frequencies designed to disorient K9 units. Yet James sees something the contractors missed. His dogs aren't disoriented. They're playing wounded, using tactics learned in urban warfare. Target acquired, a contractor reports as his team enters through multiple points. Moving to secure package. James engages from prepared positions, but these operators are good. Return fire pins him down while specialized teams move toward Sarah's location. Through tactical feeds, he watches Hunter engage the breach team. Perfect combat response until sonic weapons force him back. Assets secured. Professional voices coordinate through radio channels. Beginning extraction. Sarah fights as they take her, training showing in how she breaks one operator's nose. But these contractors are experts in rapid capture operations. Dad! Her voice carries over the chaos before sedatives take effect. All units clear, the contractor commander orders. Package secured. Begin withdrawal. Shadow and Storm circle the house, combat training now fully unleashed. 3 operators go down before specialized nets entangle them. Not wounded, James notes. His dogs are conserving energy, playing captured while gathering intelligence. Target vehicle moving south, Mike reports through secure channels. 4 SUVs, professional driving pattern, devils providing escort. Hunter returns to James's position, blood on his muzzle but eyes clear. The contractors think they've won, think their sonic weapons and tactical superiority guaranteed victory. They took her alive, James checks his tactical gear while releasing Shadow and Storm, which means they want something. His phone vibrates. Encrypted message showing Sarah's college trust fund balance. $8 million, inheritance from her mother's family. Demands incoming, Mike confirms. They're running this like a professional operation. Wire transfer protocols, secure communications, deadlines. Through surveillance feeds, James watches the devils celebrate at their compound. They think money motivates him. Think a father will simply pay to save his daughter. Remember Damascus? He asks his dogs as they gear up. Shadow's posture shifts. He remembers. Hostage rescue operation, urban tracking, night warfare. They'd earned their joint service commendation that mission. They're good, Mike warns. These contractors have military backgrounds, tactical experience. They know how to handle police response. James checks his dog's combat vests while activating tracking protocols. They're prepared for police, prepared for SWAT, prepared for military working dogs. Through thermal imaging, he spots contractor teams maintaining surveillance, professional operators ensuring no immediate pursuit. But they're not prepared for us. Shadow, Storm, and Hunter move with deadly purpose now, combat training fully engaged. No more pretending to be family pets. These are war dogs preparing to hunt. Going dark, James informs Mike. Maintain channel silence unless emergency. Let them think they've won. Let them think sonic weapons and tactical superiority guarantee their safety. They don't understand what they're really facing. Some warriors never stop fighting. They just find more precious things worth dying for. The real hunt is about to begin. Midnight transforms urban streets into a combat zone as James tracks the contractors through his thermal scope. Shadow leads their advance, following Sarah's scent trail while Storm and Hunter maintain tactical coverage. 6 years of combat operations taught them how to hunt in darker places. 3 SUVs heading north, Mike's voice whispers through secure comms. Devils running interference on police channels. These contractors are good. Counter-surveillance protocols, route deception, professional tradecraft. Shadow's ears suddenly shift. Movement ahead. Through night vision, James spots contractor teams setting up observation posts. They're watching their back trail, expecting standard pursuit protocols. Remember Ramadi? He whispers. The Belgian Malinois' muscles tense. He remembers. 3 days tracking insurgents through urban terrain, using their own defensive positions against them. Target vehicle confirmed at waypoint Charlie. A contractor's voice carries through intercepted channels. Package secure. No pursuit detected. James allows himself a cold smile. They think their electronic warfare gear and tactical superiority guarantee safety. Think their military background prepares them for any response. They're running a professional operation, Mike updates. Multiple safe houses, encrypted communications, staged fallback points. These guys wrote the book on high-value target extraction. Storm alerts to new movement. Devils of Discord motorcycles establishing perimeter watch. But their formation shows gaps. They're not used to working with professional operators, making mistakes in coordination. Shadow, acquire, James commands softly. The lead dog moves like a combat ghost, tracking Sarah's scent through urban chaos while avoiding counter-surveillance positions. His tactical display shows contractor teams maintaining defensive protocols. Former Special Forces operators using military doctrine, overlapping fields of fire, coordinated communications, professional discipline. 4 more bikes at checkpoint 2, Mike reports. Devils are running protection detail while contractors handle the package. Standard separation of duties. Through thermal imaging, James watches Shadow close on the first observation post. The contractor team maintains perfect tactical awareness, except for what's coming from below. Remember Damascus? James whispers to Storm and Hunter. Their posture shifts. They remember. Close quarters combat, silent takedowns, leaving no trace. They'd earned combat citations, clearing buildings that way. The first contractor goes down without a sound. Shadow's attack precisely targeted to disable without killing. Before his teammates can react, Storm and Hunter breach their position from different angles. Checkpoint 2, report. Professional voices carry concern through radio channels. Checkpoint 2, respond. James moves through urban shadows as his dogs secure the observation post. Combat muscle memory takes over. Smooth movement, minimal signature, maximum efficiency. Multiple channels gone dark, Mike updates. Contractors are shifting to backup frequencies. They're starting to realize something's wrong. Through his scope, James tracks more devils arriving at defensive positions. But they're getting sloppy, letting anxiety override training, making mistakes. All units, possible compromise, the contractor commander broadcasts. Implement contingency protocols. Asset remains secure. Shadow leads their advance toward the target vehicle's last known position, combat training evident in every silent step. Storm and Hunter move in coordinated patterns, eliminating surveillance positions with surgical precision. They're falling back to secondary locations, Mike reports, but something's wrong with their movement. They're scared. James watches contractor teams abandon prepared positions, tactical discipline cracking. They expected standard pursuit, police, FBI, maybe military response, not this silent elimination of their defensive perimeter. Assets secured at fallback point, a contractor's voice carries forced calm. Implementing communications blackout, all units maintain. His transmission cuts off as Shadow reaches their position. The Belgian Malinois moves like liquid shadow, years of combat experience unleashed with lethal precision. Multiple units compromised. Professional voices show real fear now. Cannot maintain perimeter. Unknown hostiles displaying advanced tactical. Storm and Hunter coordinate their attack. Combat training demonstrated in perfect synchronization. Before the contractors can mount effective resistance, their position is overrun. They're breaking formation, Mike observes. Devils are pulling back. Contractors losing cohesion. Whatever you're doing. Through thermal imaging, James watches their defensive grid collapse. Professional operators abandoning tactical positions, falling back in disarray. They still don't understand what's really hunting them. Remember Kandahar, he tells his dogs as they close on the target building. Shadow's posture shows perfect recall. Night operations, urban warfare, hostage rescue. They'd earned their highest honors that mission. Let them run. Some warriors never stop being predators. They just find different prey worth hunting. The real battle is about to begin. Pre-dawn darkness shrouds the Devil's compound as James studies their defenses through his thermal scope. Shadow, Storm, and Hunter maintain silent positions, combat training evident in their absolute stillness. Through encrypted channels, he monitors contractor communications, growing increasingly frantic. Assets secure, but multiple units compromised, a professional voice reports. Unknown hostiles demonstrating advanced tactical capabilities. K9 units operating at Special Forces level. Remember Fallujah? James whispers to his dogs. Shadow's ears prick forward. He remembers. Building-to-building combat, clearing insurgent strongholds, coordinated tactical response. They'd written the book on urban warfare. Compound has 20-plus armed personnel. Mike updates through secure comms. Contractors running interior security, devils maintaining outer perimeter. They've got thermal imaging, motion sensors, counter K9 measures. Through his scope, James spots Sarah being moved between buildings. Professional operators maintain protective formation, but their movement shows mounting tension. They're starting to understand what's hunting them. All units maintain maximum alert, the contractor commander broadcasts. These aren't standard police K9s. Repeat, we are facing military-grade operators. Shadow signals new movement. Contractor teams deploying sonic weapons around the compound's perimeter. But James notes their mistake. They're preparing for frontal assault, expecting standard tactical doctrine. Remember Tehran? He asked Storm and Hunter. The Belgian Malinois shifts slightly. They remember. Hostage extraction operation, multiple breach points, coordinated night warfare. They'd earned the Navy Cross demonstrating those skills. Thermal grid activated, Mike reports. They're running full spectrum coverage. These guys aren't taking chances. James watches contractor teams establish defensive positions. Professional work. Overlapping fields of fire. Coordinated communications. Tactical superiority. But they're missing something crucial. Shadow, acquire, he commands softly. The lead dog moves like a combat ghost, using underground drainage tunnels they'd mapped days ago. Storm and Hunter maintain overwatch while their partner infiltrates the compound's substructure. Grid showing anomalies, a contractor voice carries concern. Multiple sensor ghosts in sectors 3 and 4. Through his tactical display, James tracks Shadow's progress. The Belgian Malinois moves with lethal precision, placing specialized charges at key structural points. Combat experience shows in every calculated movement. They're getting nervous, Mike observes. Devils wanting to bug out, contractors trying to maintain tactical control, whole operation starting to fracture. James watches security teams sweep the compound's perimeter, professional operators using military-grade equipment, but their formation shows cracks, fear making them sloppy. Assets secured in primary structure, the contractor commander reports. All units maintain defensive positions. Whatever's out there can't breach our perimeter. Storm and Hunter move to prepared positions as Shadow returns. 3 combat veterans preparing for coordinated assault. James checks their tactical vests one final time. Remember Damascus? He asks quietly. The dog's posture shifts. They remember. Close quarters combat, synchronized breach, perfect tactical execution. They'd earned their highest commendations that night. Multiple thermal contacts. Professional voices show real panic now. They're already inside the compound. How did they... The first specialized charge detonates, disabling power infrastructure. Before backup generators engage, Shadow, Storm, and Hunter breach from different angles. Years of combat experience unleashed with surgical precision. All units respond. The contractor commander's voice carries desperate authority. Full tactical alert. Protect the asset. Through night vision, James watches his dogs dismantle the compound's defense. Professional operators falling to coordinated attacks, devils breaking formation, tactical superiority crumbling. They're losing control, Mike reports with quiet satisfaction. Whole perimeters collapsing. Whatever you're doing. James moves through chaos he created, combat muscle memory taking over. Smooth targeting, controlled bursts, maximum effect. The contractors prepared for everything except what's actually hunting them. Asset location compromised. Professional voices show real fear now. Cannot maintain defensive position. These K9 units are operating beyond military specs. Shadow leads their advance toward Sarah's position, combat training evident in every calculated movement. Storm and Hunter coordinate perfectly, eliminating resistance with lethal efficiency. Remember Kandahar, James tells his dogs as they close on the target room. The Belgian Malinois move like liquid death. Night operations, urban warfare, hostage rescue. They'd earned their legendary status that mission. Let them run. Some warriors never stop being hunters. They just find different prey worth killing. The real war is about to end. Chaos erupts through the Devil's compound as James and his dogs push toward Sarah's location. Shadow leads their advance, combat training evident in how he eliminates resistance with surgical precision. Storm and Hunter coordinate perfectly, years of battlefield experience showing in every lethal movement. Asset containment compromised. Professional voices carry real panic through intercepted channels. Multiple breaches, K9 units operating at unprecedented tactical level. Through his thermal scope, James tracks contractor teams trying to maintain defensive positions. Their training shows in how they coordinate, overlapping fields of fire, professional communications, tactical superiority. But fear makes them predictable. Remember Mosul? He whispers to Shadow. The Belgian Malinois' ears prick forward. He remembers. Close quarters combat, room-to-room warfare, coordinated tactical response. They'd earned combat citations clearing buildings exactly like this. They're moving Sarah, Mike updates through secure comms. Contractor command team heading for emergency extraction point. 6-man security detail, heavy weapons. Storm alerts to new movement. Devils of Discord mounting desperate counterattack. But these aren't professional operators. Their aggression makes them vulnerable. All units converge. The contractor commander's voice carries strained authority. Package is moving. Protect the asset at all costs. James watches through tactical displays as his dogs systematically dismantle compound defenses. Shadow targets communication specialists. Storm eliminates heavy weapons teams. Hunter breaches secured positions. Perfect coordination born from countless combat missions. They're not human. A devil's voice breaks protocol, terror evident. These dogs, they're fighting like special forces. Maintain tactical discipline. Professional operators try restoring order, but it's already too late. James and his dogs have turned the compound into a killing ground. Remember Baghdad? He asks Storm and Hunter as they close on Sarah's position. The Belgian Malinois shifts slightly. They remember. Hostage rescue operation, synchronized breach points, coordinated night warfare. They'd written the manual on these tactics. Multiple units dark, Mike reports with quiet satisfaction. Contractor communications breaking down. Whatever you're doing in there. Through his night vision, James spots the contractor command team. 6 operators maintaining protective formation around Sarah, moving toward prepared extraction point. Professional work, but they've made a critical mistake. Shadow acquire, he commands softly. The lead dog moves like death itself, using routes mapped during initial infiltration. Storm and Hunter coordinate perfectly, maneuvering the targets exactly where James wants them. We need immediate extraction. The contractor commander's voice finally cracks. These K9 units, they're beyond anything we've encountered. Military grade doesn't begin to. His transmission cuts off as Shadow strikes. Years of combat experience unleashed with lethal precision. Before the security detail can react, Storm and Hunter attack from different angles. Textbook tactical response. Dad! Sarah's voice carries over the chaos as James reaches her position. Combat training shows in how she instantly drops, giving his dogs clear lines of engagement. Asset lost. Professional voices show complete tactical collapse. Cannot maintain defensive positions. These dogs are operating at impossible levels. Through thermal imaging, James watches remaining resistance crumble. Contractor teams abandoning defensive positions, devils fleeing in panic, tactical superiority shattered by 3 combat dogs and their handler. Remember Kandahar, he tells his dogs as they secure Sarah. The Belgian Malinois maintained perfect tactical awareness, protecting, scanning, ready for any threat. They'd earned their legendary status doing exactly this. Multiple vehicles approaching, Mike updates. State police tactical units, FBI response teams. But looks like you won't need them. James checks Sarah for injuries while his dogs establish defensive perimeter. Combat muscle memory stays sharp. Quick medical assessment, tactical awareness, constant threat evaluation. Those aren't just dogs, are they? Sarah watches Shadow coordinate with Storm and Hunter, their movements showing years of battlefield experience. They're something else entirely. They're war dogs, James confirms, noting how they maintain protective positions even as police arrive. Combat veterans who never stop serving, just found different battles worth fighting. Through tactical feeds, he watches contractor teams being arrested, devils surrendering in panic, professional operators trying to explain how three dogs dismantled their entire operation. Your dogs, Sarah says quietly, understanding finally dawning. They weren't just protecting me, they were hunting them. That's what we train for. James watches his dogs maintain security even as FBI teams sweep the compound. Some warriors never stop being hunters. They just find more precious things worth killing for. Let others try to understand. Some battles aren't about victory. They're about reminding the world why certain lines should never be crossed. The war's over, but the hunters remain vigilant. Morning sun illuminates the Devil's compound as FBI teams process captured contractors. Through his thermal scope, James watches state police tactical units documenting the devastation. Three combat dogs and their handler had systematically dismantled an entire professional operation. Federal task force is inbound, Mike reports through secure comms. DEA, Homeland Security, Pentagon observers, they all want to know how three military K9s took down a special forces-grade contractor team. Shadow maintains overwatch while Storm and Hunter patrol the perimeter, combat training evident even in victory. Through security feeds, James watches officials examine their handiwork. Every disabled operator, every tactical breach, every coordinated strike shows years of battlefield experience. They're calling it unprecedented, Mike continues. Professional contractors neutralized by K9 units, operating beyond military specifications. Pentagon's very interested. Sarah watches Shadow coordinate with his partners, their movements showing perfect tactical precision. How many missions? She asked quietly. How many times did they do this for real? Classified, James studies the compound's defensive layout. Professional work rendered useless by superior training. But that operation in Damascus made them legendary in certain circles. Through tactical channels, he monitors federal response. Joint task force assembling, specialized units deploying, intelligence agencies converging. His dogs had exposed more than just a kidnapping operation. Found the contractor's files, Mike joins them, badge now displayed openly. Complete dossiers on your military service. Combat records, mission details, tactical assessments. They knew exactly what they were facing. And still underestimated us, James scratches behind Shadow's ears. The Belgian Malinois maintains professional alertness, but his tail wags slightly at familiar touch. Through compound cameras, he watches federal agents examining defensive positions. Their expressions show growing respect as they understand the sophistication of what they're documenting. Pentagon's setting up a new program, Mike continues. Advanced K9 tactical operations. They want your expertise in training military working dogs for specialized combat roles. Shadow's ears prick forward at familiar engine sounds. More federal vehicles arriving, but the German Shepherd's posture remains relaxed. He remembers allies now, not just potential threats. The devils are finished, James observes as more arrests unfold. But others will come. Different organizations, different tactics. Professional operators always think they can handle military K9s. That's why we need you, Mike explains. All of you. The task force wants to establish a permanent training program, show other handlers what's really possible with combat dogs. James studies his longtime friend's face. The police lieutenant has seen enough to understand. These aren't just trained animals. They're tactical assets capable of dismantling professional military operations. They're offering you a position, Mike continues. Director of K9 Special Operations, full resources, tactical facilities, chance to train the next generation. Turn what your dogs can do into standard capability. Through his scope, James watches more federal teams arrive. Their attention focuses on Shadow, Storm, and Hunter, recognizing combat veterans who prove military working dogs can exceed all known limitations. Got something else, too. Mike hands him a folder. Joint Special Operations Command. They want your dog's expertise for their tactical response teams. Real missions, not just training. Official reinstatement as military working dogs. The Belgian Malinois' tails wag once, their old signal for mission acceptance. They've never stopped being warriors, just found new ways to serve. Remember Fallujah? James whispers to his partners. Their posture shows perfect recall, not just of combat, but of training others, teaching new handlers, creating tactical capabilities that saved lives. Through compound cameras, he watches the federal response grow. Task force teams documenting everything, analyzing tactical movements, studying defensive breaches. They're trying to understand how 3 dogs eliminated an entire professional operation. The program starts immediately, Mike continues. Use your experience to create new tactical teams. Show handlers what military working dogs can really do. James's phone buzzes with messages from military commands across 3 countries. They all want to understand how Combat K9s dismantled a Special Forces grade contractor team. What do you think, boys? He checks their tactical vests. No longer hidden, now worn with pride. Ready for a new mission? The Belgian Malinois posture radiates professional focus. Multiple combat tours, countless successful operations, training that never fades. But their eyes show something else now. Not just tactical awareness, but eagerness to share their capabilities. Through morning light, James watches federal teams process the scene. His dogs had done more than just save Sarah. They demonstrated possibilities that would reshape military K9 operations globally. Time to make it official, he tells Mike, but we do it our way. Real combat integration, not just basic training. Show the world what war dogs can really do. Shadow, Storm, and Hunter's tails tap against their legs. Mission accepted. Let others study their methods. Some warriors never stop serving. They just find new ways to protect what matters. The war for Sarah is over, but James Cooper and his combat K9s have found a new purpose. Not just in victory, but in creating the next generation of warriors. The real mission is just beginning.